Welcome to this week's edition of Mainly Motorsports. Anybody that watched last week's show, remember the little joke we made when Greg, we were talking about the Mainleys, which we'll touch on here in a little bit. And Greg wanted to see a category best guest co-host. Well, we popped up, Dave popped up a little vacant seat graphic, and that's what we got today, vacant seat. I'm flying solo, as they used to say on one of those radio stations. But we're going to get a word with Greg here in a little bit. Greg took a road trip that I think a lot of people from Maine took this weekend, and traveled down to Plattsburgh, New York for the Fall Foliage 200 at Airborne, kind of a prestigious race on the ACT side of things. Been going on for a long time. Then he traveled over to the Thunder Road International Speedway for, probably not an international speedway, but Thunder Road. Everybody's heard of Thunder Road, the quarter-mile bank track in Barre, Vermont. They have some prestigious races there as well. And this weekend was the Milk Bowl. And we're going to talk to Greg in a little bit, get him on the phone. He's still down in Vermont, and get his take on doing the double, so to speak. It's a pretty neat deal, I guess. You know, traveling over to Airborne and then going to the Milk Bowl. It's just like doing a couple of pass races, act races, mod races. Going to the Cup race at Charlotte on Saturday night after the Nationwide on Friday. Pretty big deal. So Greg had a good time, and he'll get a chance to tell us about it. But a couple of things we touched on last week's show, the Mainleys. We want to talk about the Mainleys coming up. Some guys still finishing up some pretty good years, to get themselves recognized and nominated into some categories. And we're going to have those out within a week or so. I'm just finalizing, putting the people in place, and we got some suggestions last week on our Facebook page, on Mainly Motorsports Facebook page, about some different categories to do. We like to change up a few categories every year. Obviously we do the drivers of the year and nominate them, but I like to do some different ones. Get the tracks involved, the websites in the past, the photo guys, and they do a great job as far as submitting stuff to us week in, week out. Me and Greg talked about that last week, and give them a chance to win their own award. They kind of get overlooked, so you get a chance, go to their websites, and get a picture of your favorite driver and help support the cause and support those guys that support not only Mainly Motorsports, but the tracks and the tours throughout the state of Maine and New England. But the Mainleys will be coming up. You'll be able to go on our website, www.mainlymotorsportstv.com, and anybody that misses an episode, just make sure you go right to our site. Dave Stewart's doing a great job to putting all the shows up now. Him and Norm Marks. Norm Marks takes care of the website. And they put the show up each week, so you're able to go catch up. And a lot of guys, you're not around Wednesday nights, Friday nights, or Thursday afternoons. You don't think of it. And sometimes busy with the kids. You get to sit down after supper or whatever, go on the computer, pop it up, go to our website, and that's where you'll end up going for the Mainleys. So keep checking back our website. Those will be coming up. But we got a pretty good show planned today. At a phone interview, we're going to have Tony True on the line, and people might not recognize that name, but between Tony True, Dale Chadbourne, and I'll let him tell the story, a lot of people really stepping up to try to make a go of it at Wiscasset Speedway this upcoming weekend. Hopefully the weather cooperates, and they'll get the great opportunity to try to save Wiscasset. It sounds kind of, save Wiscasset Speedway, but it's really the last couple of years. Doug White ran it. Did a great job. Things come up. It's tough. The economy, obviously, and he didn't run it in 2011. It sat stagnant until Tony and his group stepped forward, and we're going to let them tell you a little bit more about what they're trying to do and what the theory was behind it, and how it's all coming together. We got car show from Bangor Waterfront. Chris Smiley went out there and shot a car show. We're going to show you the highlight. Show you some pictures from the Unity winners. We're going to have the highlights on the show next week. A couple of the divisions. Great weekend of racing up there at Unity Raceway. I guess they had a full house, which is real good. That's George's big event. Long John is the big event for Unity for the year. I know he does a couple of special other events throughout the year, but the Long John is what it's all about. And sounds like George and his crew and staff hit a home run today. So congratulations to them. We'll show the pictures of the winners in a little bit. So just a lot of great things as the race season. We're getting that turnover. It's race season's over, but now we're going to turn our sights to the off-season shows. The MSA show I traveled up to this weekend. You see some highlights from there. So, Hope you enjoy this weekend. It's a little different, running solo, but we got a lot of stuff we're going to bring you. And I'm sure you're all going to enjoy this week's edition of Mainly Motorsports, and we'll be right back.
Life in Maine is all about outdoor fun and being close to nature. Southern Maine Jeep is all about delivering you the best selection and the best prices at one location. Live it up with a new 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee, increased horsepower and mileage, or go for the all-new look of the Jeep Compass 4x4. If Maine had a state car, it would be the Jeep. No other vehicle has the capabilities that come standard on every Jeep. No other dealer is working as hard to be #1 as Southern Maine Motors.
Thinking about a new camper? What if you could get a new camper now and not pay for it till next year? Now you can at Scotts Recreation. Buy a new travel trailer, we'll make your payments until January 2012. Buy any new fifth wheel, we'll make your payments until March 2012. Over 100 units in stock and online at scottsrecreation.com. Camp now, pay later.
Scotts Recreation, Route 4 Turner and Route 202 Manchester, Maine.
You're watching Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Northern Race Tire, dealer for Sunoco Race Fuels, distributed by New England Racing Fuel. Award Champs, rewarding your champions, the official supplier of Mainly Motorsports.
Welcome back to Mainly Motorsports. Got Greg Emerson on the phone, and like I said, we're going to talk to Greg. He's doing the double. That's why my seat is vacant. There is no seat. But Greg, even when you're gone away and traveling, we still drag you in here at Mainly Motorsports.
That's for sure. I've been on the road all weekend up here in the Green Mountain State still. I'll be coming home tomorrow.
Yeah. Now, did a double. I mean, obviously that wasn't the plans when they set up their schedule, but pretty big deal over there at Plattsburgh there yesterday, Saturday night.
Yeah, it was the Run-A-Wreck Fall Foliage race. And it was represented pretty well by Maine drivers,
Yeah, and that's, that tour is, the last couple of years, we've seen the influx of the Maine guys. I think part of that was the 250 getting turned over to the late models. Kind of took some of the late model guys and gave them some success in the 250 and made them branch out to some of the act events. But, we had, I think we got the 2 or 3 leading rookies this year on the tour.
Yeah, yesterday, because that was an official act race yesterday at Airborne. It was their last race of the season. And Ben Ashline actually clinched the rookie award, I believe.
Yeah.
So it was well represented,
Yeah, and then after last year, the top 2 rookies were from Maine, Bradley Babb and Austin Terrio. So, you notice some names at the top. Not really from Maine, but Joey Pohl is a Maine favorite. He has a good following up here, young kid. With a lot of talent, has kind of branched out. Kind of got, I'm not saying that's going to salvage the year because he's had a pretty tough year. He started out halfway decent in Florida, but, up here in the northern New England states there for the year, really struggled, but was able to pick up the win.
Yeah, he picked up the win. He held off Randy Potter, who races at Riverside Speedway normally, and the Act Tour. And I think that was his first win since the New Smyrna deal, the exhibition race they did down there. And he had a good car, and Patrick LaPerle had a good car, and had some late race trouble with the right front going down. And it was a barn burner at the end, They had some good racing. DJ Shaw was up in the top in the mix and got him to a fracas with like 30 to go, I believe. But he salvaged the 7th place finish, after that whole ordeal.
Yeah, and then another name that we see from Maine, finished in the top 10 there over at Airborne, is Ben Rowe.
Ben he was fighting a loose car all day, and I talked to him a little today at Thunder Road, and he said that place is weird. Is what he said. He goes, the back stretch is uphill. He goes, I walked it. Take my word for it.
Really? And he if people remember a few years back, he drove that Avery number 10, and I think at one point he won 3 act races in a row in the middle of the summer, just picking and choosing races. The Avery team, David and his family, tried to do a deal this year with Brent Dragon, and the results just weren't there. So, enabled Ben to jump back in the seat, and then lo and behold, he travels over the Milk Bowl, and he just struggles over there,
Yeah. He had a tough weekend all around, up to Ben Rowe's standards, but I mean, he still represented well. He drove his tail off in the Milk Bowl today, and still the car was still loose on him, and he was chasing it around there. But he was up on the wheel, and it was pretty exciting to watch him, you know.
Yeah, and that Milk Bowl has a lot of prestige around it, you know, and that's why you see guys like Ricky Rolfe that hasn't really chased the whole ACT deal this year, but he's at the Milk Bowl. You know, Ben Roll goes to the Milk Bowl. Obviously, Austin Terrio. You know, how many other Mainers were there? Because they don't start a whole bunch there. That's not a big track where they start a big field.
Yeah, I think they started 24 cars today, and there were 50 there.
50 cars.
So, yeah.
And how many were at Airborne?
Airborne, I think they had like 48, maybe.
So that's not bad. Almost 100 cars between two races this time of year, you know, when budgets are at their thinnest.
Yeah, I mean, you know, at Airborne, to get back to that for a second, you know, to talk about the main drivers, you talked about Ben finishing ninth, but Glenn Luce out of Turner finished third, and Austin got fifth in that.
Yeah, so, you know, and then, you know, we run, you know, I know they got some chassis builders down that way, but we got some chassis builders up here that really, you know, they build these cars, and they do a great job on that ACT tour. Me and you were talking before we got on the air.
Yeah, today for the Milk Bowl, where a lot of people don't know about the Milk Bowl is that they do time trials, then they do qualifying heats, and then they race the race in 3 segments where they take the total combined of where you finish. Like if you finish first in the first race, that's 1 point. And then second, if you finish 10th in the second race, you get a total of 11 points, and so on and so forth. So it's a combined of the 3 races. But when they did the time trials today, I was noticing that Brian Horse at fast time, and he has a Crazy Horse car, you know, a Race Basics Crazy Horse car,
yep.
Out of Mitch and Mickey Green's shop up in Paris. And Dave Pembroke, a Thunder Road regular, he set second fastest time, and he runs a Dale Shaw car, which Dale Shaw is in our listening or watching community, you know, and he's well represented throughout our area. And then third was Nick Sweet, who has his own car, the number 88. He's been driving the 57 for Pay Motorsports, but he had his own car, the number 88, which is the one he raced at the Oxy 250, which is a distance car. So all 3 chassis manufacturers were in the top 3 in fast time, you know. I thought that was a kind of a neat deal, you know.
Yeah, and I'm sure all 3 have won on that tour this year, and that's what you like to see. That's when it shows a rules package is working, or a chassis builder doesn't have a distinct advantage, and you know, and that's why the ACT and that's why the Pro All-Star Series and those tours seem to be working. You know, when the economy is striking out and affecting, you see other tours throughout the country folding up, and these guys are just going strong. And I think it's because of their rules package and, you know, the support that they have from the chassis builders and the people up here in the Northeast.
Yeah, it was a lot of parity, you know. There was a lot of parity, and those 3 guys, you know, that kind of set the tone for the day. They were pretty much the class of the field.
Yeah.
Pembroke was right there with Nick Sweet and Brian Hoare until the last segment. He had a horrible time in the last segment, and that kind of killed his chances.
Yeah.
But they ended up, Brian Hoare and Nick Sweet ended up tying at 14 points. And Brian Hoare won the first segment and the last segment, which gave him the overall win because he had a win. But, you know, Nick Sweet, that goes to show it still means wins. Wins matter, you know?
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Well, we got a jam-packed show here today, Greg, and I miss you being next to me. You know, you fill up a space nicely. But I want to tell you to, you know, have a safe trip back tomorrow. We appreciate that, and you know, it's pretty neat that you're out on the road and checking out what goes on at some other racetracks.
Yeah, I tried to get around the pits today and wish all the main guys good luck. And, you know, I want to throw a shout-out to Austin. He got 9th overall in the Milk Bowl, and, I mean, he had a tough day overall. And Ricky Rolfe out of Albany Township got 15th.
Yeah,
so those were the top 2 main guys, how they finished. And
yeah, no, so congratulations to them and our guys from Maine. So we're going to take a break, Greg, and and cut you loose. It's night time for you. But thank you for taking the time with us and bringing us up to date of what went on in the ACT world this weekend.
No problem, and hopefully I'll be back on the stage pretty soon.
You'll be back on stage next week.
Yeah.
All right, Greg. We'll see you.
Yeah.
All right. All right, that's Greg Emerson, and we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back on Mainly Motorsports.
Clark's Car Crushing has been a family-owned and operated business since 1978. We do everything from crushing cars, handling industrial scraps, to buying the scrap metal right out of the back of your pickup. Copper, brass, stainless steel, aluminum, you name it, we'll buy it. We have roll-off containers of all sizes for industrial accounts. We'll handle the legwork with full drop-off and pickup services. So for a professional job, guaranteed honest weights, and top dollar paid statewide, come see the Clark family in Farmingdale, Maine. Clark's Car Crushing. Don't fix it, scrap it.
Is it time to replace that old car, but past credit problems are getting in the way? At JT Motors, credit issues are a thing of the past. We have vehicles for any need. Growing family? How about a minivan? With winter here, come in and browse our great selection of four-wheel drive utilities. With a low down payment, you can qualify for this program despite those past credit issues. That's JT Motors, 650 Roosevelt Trail, Windham, where you always drive away with a smile on your face.
You're watching Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Scott's Recreation, now at 3 convenient locations. Go to scottsrecreation.com to view their inventory. Clark's Car Crushing, located in Hollowell, providing guaranteed honest weights with top dollar being paid.
Friday night, I traveled over to the North Saco Pathfinders Lawnmower Racing Association. We were back there a while back. Dave and Greg went over, got some highlights and stuff, but I thought it was fitting to go back this weekend. One of the things they're trying to do, besides the lawnmower racing, is introduce go-karts to the clay. And when I say clay, it reminded me of Beach Ridge Motor Speedway back in the 80s, early 80s and 70s, when I was walking on the track at the end of the night. Your feet were sticking. And then before you got in your car, you had to wipe your feet off. And Beach Ridge wasn't really like that type of clay, but this was, it was pretty neat. And these guys they're trying to make this happen. They had a few karts there, just trying to introduce to it, kind of coming out with a rules package. And I tell you, I think this is going to take off, because I think what will happen is the racers that are looking for something to do on Friday nights, the night before they run Beach Ridge or Oxford or Wiscasset, Unity, Speedway, whatever, I think they'll want to get back in and, where a lot of them came from. And anything on dirt. And you talked to a lot of people, heard a lot of positives from Fantasy Speedway's piece last week, up the Unity dirt track, like, wow, that's really neat. I mean, dirt, a lot of people love dirt. We just don't have the opportunity to see much dirt racing around here in the state of Maine. So I think next year you're going to get a chance to maybe see something over there at the North Saco Pathfinders, the lawnmower racing. And the lawnmower racing's crazy. You guys know that. And, every time a new person gets introduced to it, they just say, wow, this is just nuts, So we went over, we got some highlights, some race action, talked to some of the winners. Also spoke with Mo Asenault. He's the one that's heading up this the lawnmower deal. So the go-kart deal. So if you're looking to get into that maybe next year, Mo's going to be out. I think he's going to be at the Northeast Motorsports Expo. You'll probably see him around. He's going to have it out there on Facebook, the social network, and try to get the word out there about what he's going on. And and I think it's going to take off. So enjoy this next piece of racing action right here on Mainly Motorsports.
The 2011 Sportsman Championship here at the Saco track. We're going to give you a minute to get your helmet off, okay? And you know something? You just done an awesome job here this year with this mower. And you raced with a great bunch of guys, too. Congratulations to you, Charlie Buxton.
Yeah, thank you. It was a really fun year. I think we ended up, I don't know how many wins we got, but had a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun out here. I gotta dedicate the win to my grandfather, though.
Awesome. You drove it a few times on two wheels. How'd you do that?
Yeah, I just pushing it, see how far it would go. I mean, if you're not pushing it, you're never going to know its limits. So.
Right. Congratulations, you. Okay, receiving your first place trophy from Gay Morden.
Rick LaFlame.
Rick LaFlame.
Charlie, congratulations.
The Saco Pathfinders donating the trophies here tonight, and a big thanks goes out to them. And
thank you very much.
there. I got tangled up right at the beginning and didn't think the tractor was going to make it, but we got it straightened out, and it went as good as she usually does. So.
Well, congratulations to you and your second place trophy from the Saco Pathfinders. Great job. Second place is not too shabby in the points here at the track here for 2011. Congratulations to you.
Derek, it's a trophy. Nice job.
Thanks a lot.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Fred Yerkser.
We're the driver.
Fred, congratulations to you. Third place. You've worked hard. You've been consistent. You've pushed that 911 to the limits. You've been on 2 wheels. 1 wheel, I see you once, buddy.
Yeah.
And receiving your trophy for third place.
Thanks a lot, Rick.
Fun watching you win,
Rick.
man.
Thanks,
It was
man.
awesome.
Rick.
I know you've been wanting me to come see it, so
Yeah.
I'm here.
Fred, is there anybody you'd like to thank or any sponsors?
Well, I'd like to thank Things Things Paving, TK Machine out of Waterboro, and I really appreciate getting this third place. I think I'm third in the points this year. Took me a long time to get there, and I really appreciate racing with these 2 boys ahead of me. Clean drivers.
Very good. Congratulations, Fred. Did a great job. Pleasure to have you here.
Okay, I'm here with Mo Arsenault, who's reached out to the Saco Pathfinders, try to get them to bring these go-karts down on a regular basis. Tonight was the second run of it. What do you think?
I think it's going good. I'd like to see more karts, but for what it is, I think it's going to work out. I'd like I said, I'd like to get 3 divisions, 6 to 8 karts per division if possible. But if only 7 karts show up, let's race.
Yeah, and you had 4 tonight. 1 didn't make the feature, but you know, I think it is something that will take off because it's something on Friday nights. They run every other week down here, and I think you'll see a big influx of the racers that just want to have some fun on the side that can do this very affordable.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping for. Make it cost effective and family orientated and just have fun.
Now, will you be out during the winter kind of promoting this thing, getting the word out? How's somebody going to find out about what you guys planned for 2012?
Well, they can either Facebook me, and I'm hoping to get something on Saco Pathfinders, their website, if I can. And I'd like to go to the Mainly Motorsports thing, and we'll promote it there if we can.
All right, well, that's good, and this is something that's pretty cool, and I think everybody's going to enjoy next year if they are able to put a deal together down here at the North Saco Pathfinders.
Yeah, I hope so, too, and the more the merrier.
All right, good luck.
Thanks.
All right.
Hey, I'm Kyle Busch, and when I'm in Maine, I watch Mainly Motorsports.
Patman's Redemption and Agency Liquor Store is located at 95 Tanberg Trail in Windham, Maine. With over 400 feet of hard liquor and 15 doors of ice-cold beer and soda, Patman's can handle all of your beverage needs. And if it's wine on your agenda, we have over 300 varieties in stock. Then when the party's over, Patman's can handle all of your Maine returnables, and we welcome all bottle drives. And if you're late for the race, drop off the bottles and pick up the cash at your convenience.
Hey, this is Pat Man himself, just letting you know that Pat Man's is your one-stop shop for all your thirsty needs.
All of us at Moody's Collision Centers would like to thank you for supporting us for over 30 years.
We all own stock in Moody's and have a vested interest in you and your vehicle.
The people at Moody's Collision Centers are part of the community, and our reputation is very important to us.
We take pride in our work and guarantee our repairs for as long as you own your vehicle.
At Moody's Collision Center, we care about our customers.
So when your insurance company asks where you want to go, tell them Moody's Collision Centers. 4 convenient locations: Gorham, Scarborough, Biddeford, and now Portland.
You're watching Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by LKQ Core. Any part, any repair, anywhere. Located on Route 202 in Gorham. Moody's Collision Centers, now in 5 convenient locations: Biddeford, Gorham, Portland, Sanford, and Scarborough.
To order copies of a show, send a check or money order for $15, shipping and handling included, to Mainly Motorsports, 326 Roosevelt Trail, Windham, Maine, 04062. And please add a description of the show.
Welcome back to Mainly Motorsports. Time of year, I mean, we all know winter's just around the corner. We've had some real cold mornings. But the guys are still out there doing some car shows with their hot rods, street rods. And a couple weeks ago, Chris Smiley and his group traveled over to the Bangor waterfront, and they had a beautiful car show going on. A lot of different, really neat-looking vehicles to check out. And you know, it's a shame that we don't live in a state where they can show these off 12 months a year, because these guys really got some nice vehicles, and you know, they got like a 4 or 5 month window that they got to get out and drive them, ride them, display them, you know, and you know, so there's a lot of different venues, and you know, we didn't maybe do as much this summer as we'd hoped with some of the car shows. We caught one up at Ainsley's, now we caught this one at the Bangor waterfront. So everybody's a car enthusiast when it comes to this. You know, we all like looking at them. We all like seeing the shiny pieces, and you know, so enjoy some of the highlights from the Bangor Waterfront Car Show a couple weeks ago.
Smiley with Mainly Motorsports. We're here today at the Waterfront Car Show here in Bangor, and we're talking to Carrie Tripp, who is the executive director, I understand, for the show. Now, Carrie, I understand this has been going on for 4 years now. Could you just tell us how it got its beginning and where it is today compared to where it was the first year out?
Absolutely. It actually got its start from our past board member, or board chair actually, Bob Banks. He came up with this great idea to have a waterfront car show that really, he wanted it to be family friendly. He wanted it to be about the community, and this is what we have today. So it's evolved. This is our 4th year. We started with about 250 cars the first year, and we're going to be over 300 this year by the time we're ending today. So it's grown wonderfully.
Yeah, it sure has. And, you know, I know being down here and looking around, there is just a lot of cars. It takes a long time to walk down through this whole thing. Now, I understand there's many ways to win awards here today. Could you elaborate on that?
Sure. We have 37 different classes. The classes range from antiques 1949 all the way up to the present. There's first, second, and third in all of those trophy classes. There's Mopars, there's imports, there's Tri-5s. I mean, you name it, we think we've covered it. And if we haven't, we're welcoming new challenges for next year. And then there's also the best of, People's Choice, Best in Class, Best in Show, Mayor's Choice. The Mayor of Bangor each year comes out and awards a car, and you don't have to be a Bangor resident to get that award. Best Engine, Best Interior, and Best Sound. So there's lots of different ways to get a trophy today.
Yeah, we were down by the trophy trailer there. We see there's a lot of trophies waiting to be given out there. Now, if somebody wants to get involved, Carrie, how would they go about doing that? Who would they need to contact?
They would contact the Greater Bangor Convention and Visitors Bureau, or go online at visitbangormaine.com or bangorcarshow.com. And either way, there's information coming back to our office. They can volunteer if you'd like to be on a committee or help us do more events along with the car show, or if you just want to register your car for next year, you can just go right on there, and we'll be starting to take next year's registrations.
So you're starting right after you get done this, getting right back into it again. I'm sure it takes a long time to prep for this kind of thing. We want to thank you, Carrie, for taking the time. Thank you for having us here today. We're really enjoying ourselves here, and thank you. We're here with Bob Reed at the Bangor Waterfront Car Show. Bob, how many years you been coming here to this particular show?
This is my first year here. I'm usually away this weekend, and this first year that we was able to get here. So I've heard a lot of good things about it. That's why we showed up down here this year.
We've caught up with Rick Christensen here at the show. Rick, this is an absolutely beautiful 1976 El Camino. We don't see a lot of these at the show. Can you fill us in? I know that you shared with me that you kind of brought this thing from one point to the next to get it where it is today. Just tell us a little bit about that process.
I bought it 3 years ago down in Troy, Maine for $450, just a rolling chassis. And we've been working on it now 3 years, and we finally got it done this spring to where it is now. And I won't tell you how much I got into it because my wife might be watching this, but it's quite a lot more than the $450 when we started, but.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely, we can tell by looking at this. What's this got in it for a motor?
Got a 350 bored out 30 thousandths, 5-speed standard transmission with 342 posi rear end.
So she's got plenty of get up and go. Yeah. Well, all right, well, we thank you for taking just a few minutes to share with us.
Okay,
all right.
Thank you.
Now, a lot of the things we do, they aren't the shiny things. They tear them up, they rip them down, they smash them, crash them, and that's hopefully not what we see next weekend or this coming weekend over at Wiscasset Raceway. I know it's the whole theme behind it is Save Wiscasset Raceway, but when there's drivers, the word race is involved, and there's a checkered flag, we all know what can happen. So when we come back from this commercial break, we're going to have a word with Tony True, who him, Dale Chadbourne, and quite a few others are really putting a big effort in to try to save Wiscasset Speedway. And, my hat's off to them as a motorsports enthusiast for what they're trying to do. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll hear from Tony and all the efforts that they're putting forth.
Award Champs, rewarding your champions. The official supplier of Mainely Motorsports.
5 years ago, I went shopping for my family's first camper. I didn't like the prices, and I didn't like the way I was treated. A year later, I opened up Scott's Recreation.
Today, Scott's Recreation is Maine's exclusive multi-line Heartland dealer, along with being Maine's #1 fifth-wheel dealer 2 years in a row. Browse through the new 2012 Heartland models or take advantage of closeout prices on 2011s. Scott's welcomes almost anything in trade, financing available too. Scott's Recreation, Route 202 in Manchester, and their new Turner location on Route 4.
Hey, are you Bob Crowley?
Hey, yeah.
Are you going to Ossipee Trail?
Yes, I am.
Sweet. Get in.
People will do whatever they gotta do to get to Ossipee Trail Motor Sales, Route 25, Gorham.
You're watching Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Northern Race Tire, dealer for Sunoco Race Fuels, distributed by New England Racing Fuel. Southern Maine Motors, out to be Maine's #1 Chrysler Dodge Jeep dealership, Route 1 Saco.
All right, on the phone here we have Tony True, who is playing a big part along with Dale Chadbourne in trying to save Wiscasset Raceway. And I want to welcome you to Mainly Motorsports, Tony.
Thank you.
Why don't you talk about what possessed you to get involved and come up with this idea of putting on a one-day race to try to save Wiscasset, so to speak?
Well, there was talk in the town of the track being closed permanently due to noise ordinance changes if the track were to go one full year without a race. And in order to preserve the we've worked our butts off trying to get one race together, and it's going to happen this coming weekend.
Yeah, it is, and obviously you couldn't do it alone. I know the contact information are you and Dale Chadbourne, but talk about some other people behind the scenes that have really stepped up to put in the volunteer hours that it takes to get this place back raceable.
You wouldn't believe the amount of people that have come forward to help. Ryan Chadwick has headed up the mowing and groundskeeping part, and I don't know how many hours he has in up there, but we've had people come from Brewer, Machias, Searsport, just to come mow and weed whack. David Kronk actually came and mowed the parking lot, which had 4 feet of grass in it. He brought his bush hog up and mowed the parking lot, and his dad built the racetrack in 1968. It's the first time David had been back to the track at all since his dad sold it to Lost Hog.
Wow, well that's pretty neat. And you know, I know on the website Peter Taylor's done a great job updating the website. You got a lot of the volunteer names up there, and one of the things that caught my eyes was you got some people coming down from Unity to try to help out and keep this spirit alive here at Wiscasset Raceway.
Absolutely. George Fennell, who runs Unity, actually helped us with some sponsorship to make this possible. All the Unity crew is coming down to run the infield for us and do the track cleanup and whatever we need with driver records and that stuff. They've been a great help, great asset, and you know, they're going to bring their radios down, things that we just don't have to put on a show.
Yeah, because that's what the track's been stagnant now for over a year, and what people don't realize is when things just sit around, or like you said, the radios, or you know, wrecker crews, ambulance crews, all those type of things. You know, the people to actually maintain. Obviously, the restroom facilities probably needed some work, and you know, just a lot of things have had to get done just to get a one race deal put together.
Oh, absolutely. We've replaced telephone poles, light poles, put lights back up that, you know, they get knocked over during the hurricane. We've rebuilt all the toilets so that they work now, all except for one, I guess. Boards, we had to replace a bunch of bleachers. The state fire marshal's coming Tuesday to give us his blessing, hopefully. There was a foot of grass growing up in the track, you know, on the track itself, in the cracks, and sand, snow. John Marshall, a bunch of people came with torches and they burnt all the grass out. Dave Brandon was there helping clean the track up. He actually built a push truck and brought it down and left it so we can use that during the race day. It's amazing how many people have come together on this.
No, it is, and that's good, and good for any potential owners down the road, you know, when they see that people really want this to work and really, you know, Wiscasset has a strong place in a lot of people's hearts.
Absolutely, and the town itself has backed this 100%. I mean, there was talk of the noise ordinances being changed, and that's just by a few people, but unfortunately some of those people are fairly influential, and the town itself has really come together. We got all local sponsors besides George. Actually, to take that back, we've gotten some sponsor checks as far away as Florida, some people that I actually graduated high school with who haven't been here for forever heard that we were doing this, and one lady from Florida sent a check for the purpose of buying tickets for kids who might not be able to afford to go, and another man from Maryland did the same thing. You know, it's amazing how many people will come together when it's something that they grew up with, or they don't want it to go away.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and you know, looking at the schedule of events you have planned, I mean, it's a long day of racing, and you're running any type of race vehicle that's willing to show up.
Well, it's going to be a fun day of racing. We're doing this to have fun and to save the noise ordinances, save Wiscasset Raceway. There isn't any reason to go spend a lot of money to come race here, and if you bring a car, we promise you're going to have race time. We might mix some classes up, but right now there's a whole bunch of cars coming. We've got cars coming from Connecticut to Caribou. They want to make the trip to help us save the track, and we're going to make sure they get a chance to race. Also that day, we're going to have a flea market, swap meet type deal with a lot of races this time of year are looking for something for next year, or they want to get rid of something they didn't use this year, or they might be switching classes or whatever. This would be a good opportunity for them to change, get rid of some of the stuff they've got, or buy something that they need.
Yeah, no, you're right, and you know, a couple of things that caught my eyes in looking at the website is the wicked good guys. You know, those guys are what, you know, a lot of those guys have been around for years. They're the reason that racing is where it is today because of them racing 20, 30, 40 years ago. And there's a big group of them coming, as well as, you know, we're talking 3 champions that are listed. You know, Mike Hopkins, Jeff Burgess, and Billy Rogers, you know, 3 of the premier track champions here in the state of Maine in the late models and the pro stocks down at Beech Ridge, as well as Unity and Speedway 95, you know, committed to come down there and try to do what they can and put on a race and try to do what they can to help save Wiscasset. So you're absolutely right when you say people from all facets of the state and motorsports are stepping up to make this happen.
Absolutely. The guys from Unity contacted the 3 LMS champs and got them to come down here, which I think is amazing that all 3 of them are going to show up to race, which would be good to see them race against each other here at Wiscasset, a neutral track. And you spoke of the wicked good racers. They actually took up a collection, sent in a check for $475 to help us sponsor this program. So they're not only coming to race potentially for free, they're donating the money to put this on. Good bunch of guys.
No, they really are. And, you know, my hat's off to you, Tony, Dale, and obviously everybody else behind the scenes that's put a big effort in with no rewards other than keeping a racetrack together and keeping a racetrack open, hopefully for a potential buyer.
Well, I know there's a couple of potential buyers who have come forward. They're probably doing the smart business move by waiting until the bank owns it to see if they can get it for a little cheaper. But there are buyers, and, you know, our insurance, our costs to put this show on, to make it an official show, they're going to cost the same whether we have 15 people in the crowd or if we have 15,000 people. So, obviously, Wiscasset won't hold 15,000 people, but we figured that we'd just try to put on the biggest show we could. It's going to cost us the same either way. Hopefully, pack the stands up and show a potential buyer what Wiscasset is capable of.
Yeah, and I think you guys are well on your way, Tony. So, you know, the races, the heat races are going to start at 11. You're looking to start feature action around 2 o'clock, a little bit of intermission in between. And anybody that needs to find any more info out about this can go to wiscassetraceway.info. Peter Taylor's done a great job keeping the website going and keeping that up. And, you know, and you can find all the information you need, as well as you or Dale's number to answer any questions. Am I correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we'll do our best to accommodate anybody that comes. Also, anybody that's coming any distance, the Schooner Inn in Wiscasset has offered discounted rooms. If you go in and mention that Wiscasset Raceway, you're there for Wiscasset Raceway, to save Wiscasset Raceway, you'll get a discounted room price.
All right. Well, that's good. Hopefully, some people will watch this segment, realize what's going on. If they don't already know, they'll get out and support you or do whatever they can. So that's this coming Saturday, October 15th. Pit gates open at 7. Practice is going to start at 9, and racing is going to get underway at 11. So I want to wish you luck, Tony. We'll see you guys down there, and thank you for taking the time here on Mainly Motorsports.
Thank you, Steve. Hope to see everybody there.
Oh, you will.
Thanks a lot.
All of us at Moody's Collision Centers would like to thank you for supporting us for over 30 years.
We all own stock in Moody's and have a vested interest in you and your vehicle.
The people at Moody's Collision Centers are part of the community, and our reputation is very important to us.
We take pride in our work and guarantee our repairs for as long as you own your vehicle.
At Moody's Collision Center, we care about our customers.
So when your insurance company asks where you want to go, tell them Moody's Collision Centers. 4 convenient locations: Gorham, Scarborough, Biddeford, and now Portland.
People will do whatever they gotta do to get to Ossipee Trail Motor Sales, Route 25, Gorham.
Welcome back to Mainly Motorsports. Traveled this past weekend over to the MSA show. And tell you, as much as some of us hate to think it, others of us are dreaming and can't wait for the day till it starts snowing. And every year I'm amazed when I go up to that show. The quality of the snowmobiles just go up another notch. Quality of the trailers, just everything gets more user friendly. You know, just the people so friendly, so, you know, just want to talk to you about what they have to offer, their lodging, their sleds, and just, you know, we had a great time, traveled over there Saturday night and talked to some people I've talked to in the past, talked to some people that we've, you know, just met, you know, and it's just, everybody's really excited for what they think is happening around the corner, and that's winter, you know, and so we're going to show some highlights. I talked to a few guys. We're going to, next couple of weeks, incorporate a little bit of snowmobile stuff and, you know, what's going on, and some of the people up there that are trying to sell their products, supporters of our show. But I thought this week we might put a little music piece together and show you some highlights of some of the stuff that was up there on display and for sale. So check this out and get ready, because winter's coming.
Southern Maine Motors, we're celebrating Jeep's 70th anniversary with our spring events. Get the vehicle you want at a price no one else can touch, like a 2011 Jeep Compass, leased for only $239 a month for 39 months, or a 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee, leased for only $299 a month. Plus, right now, used car values are at an all-time high. Bring in your own vehicle and drive off in a brand new car. With savings this big, it's no wonder Southern Maine Motors is out to be Maine's #1 Chrysler Dodge Jeep dealer. Visit SouthernMaineMotors.com.
Hey, I'm Kyle Busch, and when I'm in Maine, I watch Mainly Motorsports.
Clark's Car Crushing has been a family-owned and operated business since 1978. We do everything from crushing cars, handling industrial scraps, to buying the scrap metal right out of the back of your pickup. Copper, brass, stainless steel, aluminum, you name it, we'll buy it. We have roll-off containers of all sizes for industrial accounts. We'll handle the legwork with full drop-off and pickup services. So for a professional job, guaranteed honest weights, and top dollar paid statewide, come see the Clark family in Farmingdale, Maine. Clark's Car Crushing. Don't fix it, scrap it.
You're watching Mainly Motorsports, brought to you by Gary Hotels, located in Brunswick, Freeport, Waterville, and Augusta, the official hotel of Mainly Motorsports.
As we wrap up this week's edition of Mainly Motorsports, a couple of big deals going on. You've heard it mentioned at the opening, you've heard it mentioned in the middle, and now you're going to hear it mentioned again. The Save Wiscasset Speedway and Raceway ordeal that's going on this weekend at Wiscasset. So get over there, support them. Your $5, send it in if you have to. We cannot lose a racetrack here in the state of Maine, no matter what. We just, we had numerous racetracks years ago, and they started falling by the wayside, and now I think there's room for, the 6 racetracks we have, and so anything we all can do to help that cause and help Wiscasset Raceway stay on the map and away from the developers. You got a couple guys, Dale Chadbourne, Tony True, that have stepped up, really trying to make it happen. So let's support them, show them we appreciate what they're doing. And then the past season finale over at Oxford Plains Speedway. They did it years ago. Settled the points there at the end of the year, left, now they're back. You got the sportsman race. Boy, is that a close one between Donnie Morse and, McKeag there, Kerry Martin, Shane Tatro, who won a couple races early in the year and faltered of late, but still has an opportunity to be the champion. And then Johnny Clark. Who can we ever say enough about Johnny Clark? And I know people probably, him again, but that team is on their game. Very similar to Brian Hoare on the ACC side of things, It's like a battle who's gonna hit 10 championships for us with those two. So that's a big deal in the past mods going on over at Oxford. So still plenty of racing. That pretty much, I know there's the Fernal Frenzy and all that, but that pretty much finishes it up. Then everybody gets geared up and going into the banquet season. So, I appreciate all the support we get here on Mainly Motorsports from our sponsors. And, don't forget that ticker. A lot of people, they don't realize those small businesses are big supporters of this show, and they make this show possible. And so if you get a chance to use one of them with one of your business needs or anything, just don't hesitate. Just step out. Or if you know them, you see them, tell them you appreciate what they do and the support they give us here in Mainly Motorsports, because without them, there'd be no Mainly Motorsports. And then we touched on it last week quite a bit. touch a little bit this week, the Northeast Motorsports Expo. So anybody looking to get involved in the Northeast Motorsports Expo, you can go to the website, which is northeastmotorsportsexpo.net. Download a vendor form. If you're a new track or an organization, you want to get in touch with me. All my contact information's there. Any questions? We talked about it last week on the show. I had 3 new people contact us for getting in, and all the normal people will be back in organizations, and I think we've taken that show to the next level in the first 2 years of ownership by Mainely Motorsports, and hoping to do it again this year for everybody. So it's something you're going to hear over and over and over every week, and it's coming up, and January's going to be here before we know it. I know we got Thanksgiving and Christmas, but those 2 things are going to come quick. So the Northeast Motorsports Expo, and really appreciate all the people behind that. So hope you enjoyed this week's edition. A little bit different, running solo, but we'll be back next week right here on Mainly Motorsports.
To order copies of a show, send a check or money order for $15, shipping and handling included, to Mainely Motorsports, 326 Roosevelt Trail, Windham, Maine, 04062. And please add a description of the show.